The views expressed during this program are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Viper Broadcasting. Please limit your calls to one per hour. You've had all morning to think it over. Now let's talk about it. Your phone calls are welcome at 573-302-7000 or toll free at 1-866-372-1270. It's hour number 2 of the KRMS Morning Magazine on News Talk 1150, KRMS, and 97.5 KRMS FM.
10:15 here at News Talk 1150 and 97.5 KRMS. Good morning, everyone. I'm Manny Haley. Time for hour number 2 of the Morning Magazine, the Thursday edition. It is Thursday. That would be the 16th day of May, 2013. And we still have 2 pages left of the program for you. We'll start off page 2 here in just a little bit. That will be our weekly conversation with David Stokes from the Show Me Institute in St. Louis. David joins me every Thursday morning at about 10:15 for a segment we call Show Me at the Lake. That is this morning's page number 2. Then, right after we get done talking with David, it's time for page 3, and that'll be a conversation with Leslie Chamberlain. She's the president of the park board for the community park of Max Creek. We'll get a follow-up visit from Leslie. She'll let us know what the situation is with the park, if there's any other news happening about the park. They had a meeting about it a few weeks ago. I was at that meeting and listened to some possible solutions for folks that want to keep that park there in Max Creek. And she's also going to share with us some details about an event that they're having about the, it's at the park and it's for the park, and that will be this weekend, actually this Saturday. So Leslie will begin to talk about that at about 10:30 here on News Talk KRMS. 573-302-7000, 877-330-1150. Those are the phone numbers. The email, live, L-I-V-E, at krmsradio.com. And at 10:16, time for this week's segment of Show Me at the Lake. And to help us do that, as always, David Stokes, policy analyst with the Show Me Institute. Good morning, David. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good morning, Manny.
Are you tired of me yet? This is 2 times in 1 week.
I love doing this show and being a part of the discussion, so no, not at all.
Okay, well, let's get right into it. You were in to give us a preview on Tuesday morning about the meeting that was going to be happening Tuesday night at My Father's House Church there in Camdenton in regarding enhanced enterprise zones, EEZs. We spent some time talking about that. You went to the meeting on Tuesday night. How did that meeting go?
It was great. There was a really good crowd in attendance. I mean, it's sometimes hard to interest people in these sort of local, really hyper-local issues like EEZs, but not here. I mean, not with this crowd. There was a lot of people. They asked a lot of great questions. I think the question and answer period took longer than my presentation, and I was happy to just be a part of it. And people are really concerned about the EEZ, but I think a lot of them wanted information first, though, before they made up their mind.
Now, you gave your presentation, and you mentioned a lot of Q&A went on Tuesday night. Can you talk about some of the maybe more popular questions you heard on Tuesday?
Well, certainly people are, wherever you go in Missouri and you hear about the EEZs, people's largest concern is the blight designation, and justifiably so. So I got a lot of questions on that in eminent domain abuse, and I admit that the connection between eminent domain abuse and enterprise zones is limited. There aren't examples of people implementing EEZs and using it to justify eminent domain, which you do frequently see around the state with the use of tax increments financing, or TIF. That said, people still don't want to live in an area with a nice house that they've lived in for a long time and paying taxes and raising families, and all of a sudden the government comes in and says it's blighted. I mean, that still has a negative connotation in the public's minds, and justifiably so, and people are very concerned about it.
Now, at this meeting as well, were there supporters of enhanced enterprise zones there too?
None that was sort of an out-and-out supporter of the plan, no. I think there were some people there were certainly some undecideds there asking questions, for and against, and trying to get the handle on it. But I didn't get the sense that anybody there was really, let's push for this thing. This is going to be great.
Now, did you get a feeling then from the meeting where the EEZ is in Camden County, what the status of it is right now, or was this just more questions about what this enhanced enterprise zone could be?
There was a lot of questions about the Enhanced Enterprise Zone from the many citizen activists here with the Lake Area Conservative Club. So there weren't many elected officials there. I think there was probably one or two. But most of these citizens seemed opposed to it. That was certainly the general sense of it. But again, there were plenty of people there who were undecided and just trying to learn more and more about it. And what I was there to talk about was how, there's just no evidence that these enhanced enterprise zones or the prior enterprise zones program do any good for your area. There's just no evidence for it. And the shoe's always on the wrong foot in these discussions, unfortunately. Our opponents of TIF or opponents of enterprise zones or enhanced enterprise zones are expected to prove that they don't work, are expected to prove a negative, which can be difficult. The shoe should be on the foot of the supporters of the programs to demonstrate that they will work, which they can't do because there's just no economic evidence out there that they succeed in their goals.
That's, I think, really been the big hinge point for a lot of different places, not only in the Lake of the Ozarks area, but really across the state of Missouri. When you look at these enhanced enterprise zones, or even go back before that, when you look at the enhanced zones, as they were called originally, there really is not anything to show that these things really, in the end, benefit either the county that they're in or the area as well.
Absolutely. The study that I did on enterprise zones in Missouri, which your listeners can see at showmeinstitute.org, and all the data we used is publicly available along with the study on the web. Everything is completely out there. It includes a literature review of studies of this subject around the country. And the vast majority of them just find that these types of local incentive programs, enhanced enterprise zones or TIF or whatever, they just don't grow an economy. And the reason they don't is because the government is not equipped to predict in the future how a local economy is going to grow. They've got no special gift in government or economic development agencies to presume to know how this subsidy here is really going to help an economy. They don't have any idea what the future is going to be, and that's why it's best to try and focus on keeping low tax rates fair and across the board for everyone, and not giving special breaks here or there to special businesses or people.
Well, I know the other thing that you and I have spent different shows talking about, too, is the entire idea or notion that maybe this is going to draw a business, or this is going to draw a company to this particular area, just the idea of the enhanced enterprise zone. Is that fair to say that it wouldn't, or that it would draw let's just say a manufacturing company to Camden County?
It's fair to say that there's no evidence that it will do that in any significant, measurable way. When it does do that, if that were to happen, it's most likely to just come from another business already in the area that was already looking to expand that might now say, well, since if I move over into that zone, I can get a special tax credit, so they'll move into the zone from nearby. You might get some sort of change in economic growth that was already likely to occur anyway, and supporters of the zone will then claim that this is an example of success. But it isn't. I mean, these things, it's not that they kill an economy themselves. The long-term problem is they just one more example of government trying to plan your local economy, and that's the long-term harm, with no evidence that you suddenly international manufacturers are going to move plants from Asia into Camden County because there's an enterprise zone here. I mean, they try to pass off this dream that just isn't backed up by data.
We're talking with David Stokes with the Show Me Institute here on the Morning Magazine on News Talk 1150 and 97.5 KRMS. Now, if the Enhanced Enterprise Zone, let's say for whatever reason it doesn't materialize here in Camden County, are there steps that county officials could take to show companies and businesses that they need to relocate or they want to relocate to Camden County?
You need to be spreading the word about the commercial property tax surcharge in Camden County, which is the second lowest commercial surcharge rate in the state of Missouri. Every county has this extra property tax, which is applied only on commercial property. And a lot of elected officials and the public don't know it exists. It's just a part of your commercial property tax bill. But even the ones who do, too often don't know how it varies from county to county. So Camden County people are probably not aware how much higher it is in most other Missouri counties. It is $1.70 per hundred in St. Louis County, but only 3 cents per $100 of assessed commercial valuation in Camden County. Camden County is also lower than most of its neighbors and competitive counties as well. That's the message you should be spreading. This is an area with low overall taxes and a particularly low commercial tax surcharge, commercial property tax surcharge, and that's permanent. That's not going to change. Camden County can't raise that surcharge tax even if they wanted to. That's the message you should be sending. You should be trying to create a business-friendly, low-tax overall environment, and businesses will come and grow within your community.
Were there any other big questions that you received on Tuesday night there at the meeting in Camdenton?
Well, there was the question that I had been asked to talk about beforehand and was happy to do so, and we discussed it a little bit on Tuesday, which is, if you do this enhanced enterprise zone anyway, is there a way to do it better? And there is a small way to do it in a more free market sense, and that is to take this zone board, which will be created in accordance with the new EEZ. That board is empowered to pick and choose what types of businesses are eligible to get the credits, and I would encourage that board to not do that. Don't pick and choose which businesses are eligible to get the credits. Just give any business within the zone that expands or hires, as the rules for the zone are, anybody who does that should be eligible for the tax credits. And don't try and pick winners and losers even more than you're already doing with the zone.
Yeah, that's a big notion when enhanced enterprise zones, at least my experience with them throughout mainly rural Missouri have been, is that you start getting into some very hard choices, and then you throw in the word blight, and that really starts to get people concerned, and it gets people like we had here on Tuesday night asking questions of folks like yourself that have taken a comprehensive look at these particular zones, enhanced enterprise zones, and again, what the effect of them ultimately is or what they can be on an area.
Well, it is great to see people, and I'd say this whether you're coming from the conservative side, the liberal side, or wherever. It is always great to see people taking a real interest in their local government. Which, too often, in my opinion, people focus on national affairs when they can have so much more of an impact through their own volunteering or their own activism at the local level. So whichever angle you're coming from, it is great to see people asking hard questions of government. We're not supposed to just trust government. In a democracy, we're supposed to believe in our government, but also ask the tough questions and make them come up with the evidence before they do things.
Yeah, be careful, David. Don't question the government, or make sure you get your taxes in order. I guess is that the new catchphrase for us right now?
I think so. It's a little frightening.
Yeah. Let's again give us that website if folks again didn't get to go to the meeting, but they want to see the case study that you all put together there at the Show Me Institute about enhanced enterprise zones.
That case study, along with some accompanying op-eds and all the data we collected. If somebody wants to prove me wrong, the data is out there. The same data I used, you can use to check it out yourself. It's all at showmeinstitute.org, and people can follow me on Twitter at davidcstokes.org. Not .org, I'm sorry, at davidcstokes. I get my Twitter and my web confused there a little bit.
Oh, that's all right. That happens to me, too. Hey, before I let you go, how was that helicopter ride you took on Tuesday?
That helicopter ride was fabulous. As I think I explained in the tweet before the show in a lunch meeting, I had about an hour to kill, and I was just sort of driving to the restaurant, wondering what I was going to do for an hour. When I saw a helicopter above me, and turned to the left and saw Lake Ozark helicopter rides, and I love going on helicopter rides. I haven't done that many in my life, so I quickly took a turn, pulled in, parked, ran in. They had an opening and went up for about a 12-minute ride around Lake of the Ozarks in a helicopter. It was great fun.
Wow, very cool, very cool. Well, we'll have to get you down here live in person again and have you back in the studio and talk some more with you about different issues, be they local or state. And David Stokes of the Show Me Institute in St. Louis, thanks so much for the visit and the time. We'll talk with you again next Thursday.
Talk to you then, Manny.
Thanks so much. David Stokes, the policy analyst, one of the policy analysts with the Show Me Institute, helping us with a segment we call Show Me at the Lake. We do that every Thursday morning at 10:15 right here on News Talk KRMS. We're headed towards page number 3. That is on the way. You're listening to News Talk KRMS.
For News Talk 1150 KRMS.